The undeletable file is what I call that. I have searched high and low in various workstations, nooks and crannies of various hard drives on various computers in our bullpen, and they just seem to be able to tuck it away in a place where I can't find that particular video, and so Megan throws it up every now and again. Thank goodness I can dance. Hi, everybody. It is Friday. Woohoo! 21st day of August 2020. I like it when I can say it's Friday. A lot of stuff today. This is one of those shows, and it happens occasionally. We got a 5-pound show and a 4-pound bag. We're going to do our very, very best. We got the results from the voluntary COVID testing up in Bridgeport on Tuesday. The numbers are sobering, to say the least. Also, the Palmer fire up near Oroville. Getting pretty nasty up there. We'll talk about that. Our very own Jefferson Robbins had a chance to sit down for an exclusive one-on-one with Governor Jay Inslee. Talk about COVID. We'll have that when we get to the news as well. Pretty breezy day for many locations in our viewing area. Unfortunately, the strongest winds, it looks like right now, are going to be up in the Okanagan Valley, and that's the last thing they need with the Palmer fire up there. Complete forecast details are coming up. The weekend looks fantastic. By the way, we got sports. The Mariners took on Clayton Kershaw last night, so you're already rolling that boulder up that hill before you even step into the batter's box, and Clayton pretty much had his way with the Mariners. We'll talk Seahawks as well. Preview tomorrow night at the WVSO, plus today in history, some celebrity birthdays. Everybody's entitled to Mike McNally's opinion, the obscure holiday. And we had a really nice chat yesterday with Erica Grissmerson. Erica Grissmerson is one of the organizers of the Walk to End Alzheimer's. We visited via Skype because the walk is still on. Going to be on Saturday. September 26th, but they got a little pep rally to put you in the mood. A virtual pep rally is going to be held tomorrow, and then they'll start that whole fundraising thing, get your teams together. Walk to End Alzheimer's will be the topic of conversation in the back half of the hour with Erica Grissmerson. All right, 2.5 minutes after the hour, let's go. What do we got out there on this Friday morning? First of all, it's about 70 degrees outside. We hit 87. Was our official high yesterday at Pangbourne Memorial Airport. It's where they measure these things at. Just a little bit above normal. Sunrise this morning is 6:06. Sunset tonight 8:01. 13 hours and 55 minutes of daylight. As you can see, the sun is just starting to bathe up on Badger Mountain there in the Sunny Slope area. And this is what we're going to be dealing with, longer shadows. But this is also the time of the year, as we get closer and closer to the end of summer, that the shadows are actually pretty sharp. They look kind of cool. Beautiful day today, though, outside of the wind. It's going to be a little windy, especially this afternoon. Cold front's coming our way. Details coming up. Good morning, Wenatchee and East Wenatchee. Camera number 2. We are off to see I got Wizard of Oz in my head. Stamen Flats. Yay! Hi, Stamen Flats, named after the legendary billiard player, Minnesota Stamen. As we look out over, most of that is the Douglas County area. A lot of beautiful homes right along the Columbia River. That's got to be a pretty cool place to live any time of the year, for that matter. Can't make out the Wenatchee Valley, way too far away. Stamen Flats is just before you got to make up your mind on how you're going to Chelan. You're going to take the Knapsill Tunnel on 97A and dump yourself out at Pat and Mike's, or you're going to go through the Navarre Cooley Road and dump yourself off at the State Park. That's Stamen Flats. That's where the decision has to be made. Camera number 3. Ooh, good stuff. I don't know, Rude Canyon? Hey, Dan got one right. Hi, Rude Canyon. I have a couple of friends who live up in Rude Canyon. They're not rude. They're quite pleasant, as a matter of fact. Nice view there. I want to say we're looking almost directly to the west, maybe northwest from the Rude Canyon camera, up near the top of the, up near the Waterville Plateau. Waterville, by the way, you may be dealing with some blowing dust. Waterville's also, always a little... When we talk about breezy in the valley, it could be windy up in the Waterville Plateau, so heads up there because, of course, the dryness of the fields means this doesn't take a lot of wind for the grass to start moving around, for the dust to start blowing around. Camera 4. Oh, Billy Goat. Good shot of Billy Goat. And, yeah, watch out for some bad air quality up there. They're going to have some haze and some smoke issues, obviously, up in the Okanagan Valley. Because of the Palmer fire. It's a beautiful view, though. You can see Pateris there, Brewster in your shot, Bridgeport almost in your shot, not quite. Way off in the distance, of course, would be the Orville area, and that's where the Palmer fire is, and it's pretty much doubled in size in the last 24 hours. It's got a really good headway. It's not looking good up there in the Oroville area. You guys are in our thoughts this morning, but a beautiful view anyway from the Billy Goat camera. Good stuff this morning, Megan. 5 minutes after the hour, got one slide to show for you from the National Weather Service. And yep, it's going to be breezy today, so those fires, especially up in the Oroville area, the Palmer fire can continue to go. It could really take off. They don't need that. Take a look at where you live, and these are your wind gusts. This is the sustained winds, of course. This is your peak wind gusts, and it'll all be this afternoon into the early evening hours. So take a look at where you live. So the area lakes will be pretty choppy in some locations, and fire spread is not good. Now, this breezy conditions are not going to last very long. They're going to die down overnight tonight, but there'll be a couple of sections with gusts between 20 to 30 miles an hour. Columbia Basin, you're going to be pretty breezy as well. And again, the thing that we worry about when we talk about the Okanagan Valley is pretty narrow, as you well know if you've ever been up there. And that wind could start, the terrain is so narrow that the wind could start funneling through the Okanagan Valley, and that means they could have even higher wind gusts and sustained winds in the Okanagan Valley. It's narrow, and it's blowing right through that valley in a direction that they don't want to have. So there you go. So get ready for some breezy conditions. All right, Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling gives your home a hug. They sponsor the forecast from the National Weather Service, just about 88 or 89 today. As far as the Wenatchee Valley is concerned, wind-wise, we'll have sustained winds this morning, about 5 to 10 miles an hour, and then it's going to switch to the west from 11 to 16 miles an hour this afternoon. The occasional wind gust right around 25, 26 miles an hour. Again, that's for the Wenatchee Valley. Columbia Basin, they can see wind gusts above 30. And up in the Waterville Plateau, 30 to 35 miles an hour. In addition to that, up in the Okanagan Valley, maybe the Chelan area could get some stronger winds than us here in little old Wenatchee town, USA. Winds die down tonight, 62 for the overnight low. This is a cold front, so it's ushering in some cooler air, which is why we're only going to get to about 85 or 86 on Saturday. Lots of sunshine, very little wind. Saturday night, mostly clear, 55 for the overnight low. Sunday, start warming back up again, right around 92, and then to 92, and then to 90, 90, 93. Lots of sunshine, typical August weather. The story today is going to be the wind. It will be windy right into the overnight hours, and then in the wee small hours of the morning is when the cold front begins to exit, and it'll usher in some cooler air just in time for Saturday, for the weekend. So Saturday looks like a great day to be out and about, and not too bad Sunday either. All right, there's your forecast at 8 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a 1-minute break. That's all it takes. 1 minute, so grab yourself a cup of coffee and your Danish and come right back and join us. We got a lot of news to get to on this Friday. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
I have fiber at home because it allows me to do a great job in my profession. It allows me to learn things that I need to learn at home. It allows my kids to hopefully one day be able to be educated because of what they learned online and what they learned from their teachers. And it allows us to have fun too as a family. And we're able to do a lot of things because of fiber internet. I'm Rudy, and my family learns with fiber.
What's your auto mocha emergency?
It's a Frappuccino mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate for pita.
Definitely the espresso shakes.
My favorite is the mocha for pitas.
A peach Red Bull.
It's 9 minutes after the hour on this Friday, 70 degrees with just a few clouds. Quite a bit of sunshine today, upper 80s for the afternoon high. A little breezy this afternoon. Very nice weekend, though. Heading our way, let's take a look at your news. The Palmer fire, burning 7 miles southwest of Oroville, nearly doubled in size over the last 24 hours. It continues to burn unabated. The Bureau of Land Management estimates the fire now at over 11,000 acres. It's burning in brush and in grass. New Level 3 evacuation notices have been issued for residents along the Totes Cooley Road to Chopaka Road and along the Loomis-Oroville Road. The map that you see here indicates where those evacuations are. Level 3 evacuations are in red. Level 2 evacuations are in yellow. The black dots that you see indicate homes or structures. The town of Oroville, by the way, is on the upper right-hand corner of the map that you see. 30 buildings have been reported as either damaged or destroyed so far. 398 personnel from multiple agencies are fighting the fire. There is no containment yet. Strong winds are forecast for the area today. The numbers are in from the voluntary COVID testing event in Bridgeport on Tuesday, and these numbers are not good. The Chelan Douglas Health District says of the 32 volunteers who were tested, 12 of those tested positive for COVID-19. All of the individuals who tested positive
Gebbers
are of
Farms,
Hispanic descent, and they had no COVID-19 symptoms at the time of their testing. So the health district is planning to coordinate an effort that could begin as soon as Monday. What they want to do is test all 2,500 residents of the Bridgeport area. The state on Wednesday ordered Brewster-based Gebbers Farms to test thousands of its employees for COVID-19. And in addition, Governor Jay Inslee announced new testing rules at all agricultural companies. Secretary of Health John Weissman said Gebbers Farms, one of the largest fruit tree companies in the world, has previously been issued 2 orders of immediate restraint for not following health and safety rules for its approximately 4,500 workers. Weissman said if an employee refuses to be tested, they will not be allowed to return to work. Inslee's proclamation will require all agricultural companies to broadly test their workforce if health officials identify an outbreak of 9 or more COVID-19 cases at a facility. Weissman said Gebbers Farms must immediately begin testing and have it completed over the next 2 weeks.
Gebbers Farms in Brewster is one of those agricultural industries farms that have had a large number of cases. At the end of July, there was over 120 positive cases of COVID and over 150 employees who had had symptoms during a period of time, and 3 workers had died of this. So a very serious situation there. So today, I issued earlier today orders that all of the employees at Gebbers Farms be tested for COVID-19 within the next 2 weeks. And so starting tomorrow, staff will be out in Okanagan County working with Gebbers Farms to ensure that we're able to have everyone tested. The state will provide the testing resources and supplies and paying for the test to help make that happen.
In the last week, Governor Jay Inslee has visited both Brewster and Wenatchee. Of course, both places have showed signs of increasing COVID-19 infection rates. As we just told you, on Wednesday, he ordered more rigorous testing at Washington's farm and packing house facilities because they've had a dramatic increase among COVID-19 testing or COVID-19 cases among agricultural workers. Our very own Jefferson Robbins asked Governor Inslee yesterday whether more could have been done to protect the state's farm employees.
The initial directives concerning farm worker housing have been on the books for a while, and I think a lot of people saw these as potential sites for rapid spread. Should the requirement for testing have been put in place earlier?
You know, I'm sure that throughout this, there are many things that, you know, in retrospect you could say, but I think we have responded to the science and the ability to do the testing. So as you know, we have been inhibited by a limitation of testing capability for some period of time, in large part because the federal government would not get off the dime and actually help manufacture the test swabs and the reagents and the analytical capability. So as we have increased the ability to do the tests, that has allowed us to expand the places where we're doing testing, including these ag facilities. Now, obviously, we've also seen some of these get hit hard, so we've identified where the problem is. That helps identify the problem as well. So I think given the fact that we just didn't have the testing capability until now, probably means we're doing it in about the right period of time.
I wanted to ask for an update, to the best of your knowledge, sir, on the loss of ESD funds, of unemployment funds, in the theft that was detected back in May. About $650 million recorded lost, about $300 million or half that recovered as of late May. Have there been further recoveries, or are you aware of any progress in catching the folks responsible?
There have been further recoveries. I'm not sure they've been dramatic. I think the numbers are more like 5.5 was originally lost and 3.5 has been recovered. So I think the net is in the ballpark of 200 at this moment. So there have been some additional recoveries and relatively small. I don't believe there's been arrests to date. The U.S. Attorney, FBI, other agencies are investigating this, and I assume they're being as aggressive as possible. It's a very complex, sophisticated international ring that was involved in this. They hit quite a number of states. We're not the only state that has suffered this. I'm glad that we've had significant recovery of these funds of about $350 million. And it's been very frustrating because we've also at the same time had this enormous desire to get benefits to people as quickly as we can. And we've been fighting to do that. We've made real progress on that. We've now gone through the 200,000, what we call the ID queue, and about 80,000 in the adjudication queue. And we've now cleared that. So people's claims have been resolved in those groups. But we still have work to do with people who are still waiting from some of the more recent claims that we're trying to work through as quickly as we can.
We're about half a year into this pandemic. Some of the frustration that gets expressed has to do with masking and social distancing. The sentiment that we should protect the vulnerable, protect the elderly, but those with no pre-existing health conditions, those in vigor, should be allowed to go about their lives, and that businesses in particular should be allowed to reopen. What do you say to that sentiment when you hear it?
Well, I'm really glad that people are masking up. What I would say first is the sentiment has been very positive, including in your area, where a high percentage of people are wearing masks when they go out shopping and the like. We really appreciate that. And the reason is we know that it works. And that's why people are wearing masks. We know it works. The science is very clear. We've seen really good progress in Yakima, for instance, where the infection rate has come down dramatically because of the mask usage. It started earlier than some other places. So what I'm hearing is very broad compliance with what we've required. And I think that's really great. That's why some of the numbers are starting to come down statewide. So that's really good news. Now, why to do that is because we don't like to see people die gasping for breath in a very frequently lonely, difficult death. That's pretty simple. And there are dozens of people, sometimes over 24 a day, that we're losing of our loved ones. And I don't know who would be callous enough to say that's just okay. And so this isn't rocket science. We don't want our loved ones to die. That's the reason for this. And it's impossible to protect people, everybody, if there's broad scale transmission of this. Now we know that people of an age or those with underlying conditions are much more likely to suffer a fatality, but not the only ones. We had a 19-year-old kid who's a star athlete from Puyallup died the other day, no underlying conditions. And the fact is, even though our seniors, we can't just lock them in a bottle. You can't provide total protection for them. Even in our nursing homes, we have to have people come in who are caring for them. Nurses, cooks, maintenance people, and they come in from the outside. We can't put those people in a bottle either. And so as long as there's an infection in the community, there is really no way to fully protect our older population. And by the way, it's not that old, it's over 60. I consider 60 young at this moment. So anyway, it's the only way that we can really protect our loved ones. And I'm glad that we're doing smart things right now. I'm glad we've gotten over this silly argument about masks. People now know they work and they're wearing them big time. And I think that's a great thing. We do have more work to do, right, on our social lives. We need to be more protective of our people. We just can't go inside to birthday parties and all kinds of get-togethers and not be wearing masks. That's where a lot of the infection is still occurring. We're hopeful that our increased testing in the ag community, but this is now throughout the community. It's just not people working in agriculture right now. So we're doing good things. Let's keep it up. Thank you very much.
It's worth noting that the governor's been using the phrase bioprotector, not an infector, when urging people to mask up and stay home. That catchphrase was developed by the Chelan Douglas Health District for its superhero-themed COVID-19 campaign. The governor says he heard the phrase during his visit to Wenatchee this week from Chamber of Commerce Executive Director Shiloh Burgess. And finally, on this Friday morning, if you drop by the Wenatchee Post Office tomorrow, you may be seeing local mail personnel picketing over postal changes by the Trump administration. Mail handling in the Wenatchee area almost shifted permanently to Spokane this week under mandates from the U.S. Postmaster. Now, Ryan Harris is the union representative for local post office employees, and he says mail workers want the public to know about the confusion imposed by our nation's capital. He explained to our own Jefferson Robbins how the Wenatchee Sorting Center escaped the chopping block.
In July, we were notified from Seattle that we were going to be losing our outgoing letters and outgoing flat cancellations effective the first Saturday of this month. That didn't happen, but the second Saturday of this month, they had us disconnect the Dios machine, which is the machine that sprays the barcodes on it and sorts the letters, as well as the flats canceller and the two marks which cancel the letters. We didn't actually remove the machines. All we did is remove all the wiring to them so they couldn't be used. We got the authority Tuesday night after the Postmaster General came out and did his notice, and the Washington State Attorney General Office filed lawsuit against the Postal Service that we were given permission to rerun the wires, hook the machines back up, and we started processing mail Wednesday night.
So that means that mail sent in or around the Wenatchee area still receives a Wenatchee postmark, and it's handled here in Wenatchee.
Yes, we only lost productivity for one day, which was Monday. So they ran it Tuesday night after they got everything hooked up.
So you didn't have problems reconnecting the machinery after the order to disconnect it?
We did, because once we got it up and running, we got a directive from Oklahoma and D.C. telling us to not connect it back up. But then we got confirmation after that that we were one of the few facilities that were authorized in the nation to actually reinstall our machine.
Do you know why Wenatchee got that authority when other post offices might not have?
The only thing I could think of is because we've been so proactive here, and then the Washington State Attorney General Office was leading the nation and filing the lawsuit against the Postal Service.
Was mail slowed down in the Wenatchee area because of the disconnection and then reconnection?
It was, because the mail that we delivered on Wednesday, a lot of that mail was the mail that we sent to Spokane on Monday, and normally that would be delivered on Tuesday. So it did slow a few things down. The Wednesday prior, so last Wednesday, we were notified that, oops, they made a mistake. Not only were we going to be taking the letters and the flats, but they were going to take all our priority packages as well. So any priority packages mailed in all of 988 area was sent to Spokane for one day. But then Tuesday night, they started doing that again. So they only gave us 3 days notice. So luckily, the Postmaster General changed his mind that quick and said, hey, we can continue to process. The big deal we're having problems with across the nation is a lot of the veterans' medicines, so much so that the VA has started contracting out with other carriers to deliver the medicines, because we haven't been able to get them delivered in time because a lot of the packaging machines and sorting machines haven't been active.
So do you think that if you hadn't been allowed to reconnect and restart your systems, do you think that 24-hour delay, day and a half delay would have been a permanent thing?
Yes, easily, because it would be a day of there, and then we'd get it back, and then we'd run it on our machines for first and second pass to make it walk sequence so the carriers could deliver it. And that would take another probably 2 days. We also got notification today that we can no longer get the dies for the letter canceling machines that we have because they're so outdated, so that we can't get the 2021 dies to cancel the mail next year. So chances are, once election mail is over this year, that we'll probably still end up losing the outgoing mail to Spokane under the guise that we don't have a way of creating mark cancellation dies.
Ryan, you work with the local carriers and handlers. How do they feel about having been directed one way, directed another, and they're looking at other changes down the road?
Well, think of this. If on Wednesday you're told starting Saturday you no longer have any work to do, and that they're going to try to find something else for you when there's really nothing else to do if they're taking away all the outgoing mail. So morale is pretty low, especially when you're told one way we're going to do it, now today we're going to do it, now are they going to tell us next week now to go ahead and pull the machine again? Because the Postmaster General came out and said that they were going to no longer do any consolidations, but we're still getting reports across the nation that they're disassembling DBCS and dioses. And I've seen pictures in Michigan where they're sitting out in the parking lot under tarps. I know in Seattle, some of the machines they disconnected, they took parts off of them to extend the other machines to make them longer. So those can no longer be put back in service because they're missing 2/3 of the components.
And that's a look at what's making headlines on this Friday morning. The whole crew gathering again in the bullpen to put together a newscast for you at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. We believe in an informed viewership is an important thing for us, one of our missions, and to preview the Friday night news. Here's the anchor, Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, Jefferson Robbins talked to Governor Jay Inslee yesterday. We'll bring you that interview regarding ag workers and COVID testing. All of your seasonal North Central Washington weather forecasts, and Eric Grannstrom will have all the latest from the Seahawk training camp. All that and more coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope you'll join us then. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. If you want to drop us a note and say hi or you got a news tip for us, you can email us news@ncwlife.com. You can go to our homepage, ncwlife.com, and click on the Contact Us icon. We'll get it that way as well. Or drop us a note via our Facebook page. Going to take a break. When we come back, sports. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hi, my name is Manuel Navarro, Chief Operating Officer at Columbia Valley Community Health. Patient safety is our top priority, including providing care that just can't wait. With enhanced safety precautions, we want to ensure you that we're able to continue providing safe and efficient in-person care at our clinic. From in-car check-in, ongoing screening, immediate rooming, your family can get the safe care that they deserve here at Columbia Valley Community Health.
Join NCW Life Channel for another night at the races, Saturday at Wenatchee Valley's Super Oval. We're bringing you live coverage of Johnson Electric Night. Featured racing includes the Economy Midgets Northwest Focus Midget Series, Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning Thunder Cars, Plum Perfect Roadrunners, Holidays Custom Muffler B-Mods, and the Northwest Pro 4 trucks. Join us Saturday at 6 for all the action live on NCW Life Channel, your local TV station.
We're back at 28 minutes after the hour. In sports, home field advantage isn't going to be much of a big deal until maybe even November for the Seattle Seahawks. The team announcing on Thursday that the first 3 home games at CenturyLink Field will be without fans because of the COVID-19 pandemic. That means a Sunday night game against New England in week 2, a game against Dallas in week 3, and a game against Minnesota in week 5. No fans. First game then when fans could potentially attend will be November 1st against San Francisco. Training camp continues as Seattle ramps up towards a scrimmage on Saturday at CenturyLink Field. Coach Pete Carroll says they're going to treat this as much as a preseason game as they possibly can.
What we're going to do is we're going to get a really good test on the first couple weeks of work, and see who knows what, and see if guys are commanding the, their stuff on offense and defense, and the tempo and the exchanges that we make going in and out, substitutions, all that kind of stuff to make us really sharp game time when it comes up. Wednesday will be the next really big shot for us when we come back around and go to the stadium again. So this is kind of like the first preseason game for us and trying to get everything organized and get off to a good start.
Of course, there's added pressure because there's not going to be any preseason games. So when it comes to evaluating younger players, Coach Carroll says there's a tendency to try too hard to make a play.
That factor of over-trying, the factor of trying too hard or trying to make things happen, when they're really not there, is one of the biggest faults in performance. I mean, it's not matching the opportunity with what's called for. You try to do things for the wrong reasons. And whenever you do that, you really make yourself vulnerable to giving up plays and making mistakes and errors and all that. So And it doesn't matter what the factor is. You're talking about maybe it's contract year, maybe it's the last play, or maybe it was what happened in the game last week or whatever. Guys try to come back and do stuff. And whenever they get outside of how they've been prepared and the expectations of the position, and then sometimes they may make stuff up and try technically different things, you're making yourself vulnerable. So it's really it's such a good question, because this is about trusting the preparation, trusting what you know about yourself, trusting the coaching that's come your way, trusting that you have a role to play for the guys on the field, the rest of the guys on the field and the team and all of that. All of that comes into play so guys don't over try and they don't make stuff up and they don't play outside of themselves. It's when we try to be something that we're not is when we really falter and fail. So it's a really good question, because that's a huge part of performance.
Now, the battle continues in securing a starting offensive line. Left tackle Dwayne Brown says he's been very impressed with rookie Damien Lewis.
For a rookie to come in, number one, I think he, in the Zoom meetings, like I said, he didn't have a typical rookie offseason, and he had to learn everything at home, and he was able to really retain a lot of information and be able to see him physically in practice. One-on-ones, he's been stellar. And we have a good group of D linemen as well, and those guys get after it, make us work, and he has a lot of ability. He's strong, plays with great leverage, he can move well. So that's been probably the biggest. So like I said, we have a lot of guys that have been standing out, but from him stepping in as a rookie, his first NFL action, he's been the guy for me.
Looks like Lewis is going to secure the starting right guard position. Brandon Shell starting at right tackle. The question is who the starting center is going to be. We don't know. Could be B.J. Finney. Could be Kyle Fuller. Could be me. For all I know. Seahawks have one more practice today. Scrimmage tomorrow at CenturyLink Field. And once again, you can watch the practices at 1 o'clock on KCPQ, Q13 Fox, or at Seahawks.com. 60 cars so far have signed up for racing tomorrow night at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. It's Johnson Electric Night. Track manager Jeremy Anders is billing this as a hobby stock challenge, and that has certainly turned out to be the case. A huge field of 30 cars have signed up to race in the event, sponsored by Dick City and Air Conditioning, half of which are from the Yakima area, the gateway to Wapato. Live coverage with Eric Grissmerson and Greg Rentz on the call, 6 o'clock tomorrow night on the NCW Live channel. We also have the Economy Midgets, the Northwest Focus Midget Series, the Northwest Pro 4 Trucks, Holidays, Custom Muffler B-Mods, and the Plum Perfect Roadrunners. Don't know if the Coyote will show up. Sometimes there are games when you just have to tip your hat and move on. That was the case for the Mariners last night. When you take on Clayton Kershaw, who's going to go to the Hall of Fame, you got a lot of work to do, and he just dominated the Mariners. 6-1 was the final there. The 13-year-old veteran, he struck out 11 over 7 innings. He allowed just a solo home run to Kyle Seager, picked up his 3rd win of the season. Yusei Kikuchi took the loss for Seattle. He lasted 4 2/3. He allowed 5 runs, 4 hits, 5 strikeouts, 4 walks. Manager Scott Service said the game boiled down to just one thing.
The story of today's game, we did not do what we've been doing, and that is controlling the strike zone as well. I thought Yusei threw the ball pretty good first couple innings, but he was not, getting that first pitch strike in there. And it's so important against good ball clubs like this. And I thought we've done an excellent job here the last few days. It just, wasn't happening today. So, again, they put the big 4 runs up in the 3rd inning. Like you say, tried to hang in there after that. And offensively, we got shut down by a very good pitcher. Kershaw was on top of his game today with the good slider, cutter, and then the curveball on top of that, which he was really an effective pitch for him today against, some of our young guys. So, again, I'm really happy with the way we had been playing, because we had, been controlling that strike zone is so key for us to stay in these games and win them, and we just didn't do it today.
Mariners begin a 3-game weekend series with the Rangers in town. First pitch for tonight's game, 6:10 to the American League West scoreboard, courtesy of Les Schwab. Houston knocking off Colorado 10-8. San Diego beat Texas walk-off style 8-7. Oakland got past Arizona 5-1. San Francisco over the Angels. As you see, 10-5. The Mariners are now sunk to a double-digit deficit in the American League West. As you see, they're 10.5 games behind first place Oakland. Here's our weekend schedule sports-wise on the NCW Live channel. We have girls soccer on tap tonight. Great game of our past. Wenatchee battles West Valley from November of 2017. Prior to live racing tomorrow night, you can watch boys basketball from January of 2017, Wenatchee and Eastmont. We got a twin pack of Wenatchee Wild and Vernon Viper games Sunday at 2 and 7 from last September at the Town Toyota Center, and those are just some of the games that people are playing at 34 minutes after the hour. Happy National Spumoni Day, a delicacy of southern Italy. Basically, you take 3 molded layers of flavored gelato, one, and then you put nuts, and then another, and you put more nuts, and then a third, and you put some chocolate on top of that, and you're good to go. In the United States, a lot of people like to put cherry on their spumoni. I think spumoni may have been the inspiration for Neapolitan ice cream. I'm guessing there. Certainly refreshing on a hot summer day. Why is it served in a cocktail glass? Maybe I'll try it that way. Today in history, it was a bad tornado, but a really good thing came out of it. August 21st, 1883, 137 years ago, an F5 tornado struck the town of Rochester, Minnesota. It wasn't a very big town back then. 37 people died, but it was a lot of people for Rochester. 200 were injured. There were only 3 hospitals in all of Minnesota outside of Minneapolis or St. Paul. There wasn't a hospital anywhere near Rochester, and that was one of the reasons so many people died. They didn't have any medical help. Well, in came doctors Bill Mayo and his 2 sons, Bill and Chuck. They got together with Mother Mary Alfred Mose of the Sister of St. Francis and said, maybe Rochester should get a hospital. So they banded together to form the St. Mary's Hospital. Eventually, it would become the Mayo Clinic, and the Mayo Clinic is considered one of the top hospitals on planet Earth. The Mayo Clinic was born because of a tornado 137 years ago today. August 21st, 1911, the Mona Lisa used to hang there at the Louvre. 109 years ago today, somebody stole the Mona Lisa right off the wall at the Louvre in Paris. Turns out his name was Vincenzo Peruggia. He was Italian. The guy who painted the Mona Lisa, Leonardo da Vinci, he was Italian, but the painting was in France, and he said, no, it should be in Italy. So he stole it, took it right off the wall. It helped that he worked at the Louvre, so he wasn't really suspicious. He kept it in his apartment for 2 years under his bed, and then, like the idiot he was, he tried to sell it. If you steal the most famous painting in the world and try and sell it, even after 2 years, you're gonna get caught. He tried to sell it to a museum in Italy so it could return to its homeland. Anyway, you can't steal the Mona Lisa anymore, or if you did, it'd be hard to do. It happened 109 years ago today. Happy birthday, Hawaii. Hawaii. That's the Hawaiian state flag. Interesting, isn't it? 61 years ago today, United States President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the order proclaiming Hawaii as the 50th state. They have a big party. Well, normally most years in Hawaii, it's called a Mission Day. Fun facts about Hawaii. No matter how old you are or how long you've lived in the state of Hawaii, only people with Hawaiian ancestry are called Hawaiians. People of non-Hawaiian ancestry, even if you were born and raised there, you're called locals. I learned that when I went to Hawaii. I also learned something very important about Hawaii, and that is the lei that you get when you get there. There's a lot of rules about the lei. It is very impolite in Hawaii to refuse a lei. If somebody wants to put a lei around your neck, you say yes, even if you don't want it, because it's terribly impolite. If they give you the lei, you never ever take it off in front of the person who gave you that lei. You never wear a lei on you that you intend to give to somebody else, and you never throw a lei away. You return it to the earth, and maybe the flowers will bloom again. I learned that in Hawaii too. If you want to live a long time, move to Hawaii. The average life expectancy for residents of Hawaii is 81.3 years. That's more than any other state in the union, and you won't see any billboards in Hawaii. They're banned, as well they should be. Happy birthday, Hawaii, 61 years old today. And finally, well, the Mars Observer, please call Jimmy Hoffa. We can't find you. August 21st, 1993, it took a couple of years to get up to Mars. It was 3 days before it was due to begin its orbit around Mars, the Mars Observer spacecraft. And right before it was supposed to go to work, NASA lost contact with it. Never figured out why. Don't even know where it is. They say it could be in orbit around Mars. It could be out in the middle of nowhere at this point. They still don't know to this day what exactly happened. Cost them $813 million. Space is complicated. You got to, give them a little bit of slack anyway. Birthdays. The legendary Count Basie. The man was a genius. His music just cooked. It swung. It was fun. The guy was a genius, and he worked right up to the very end. He was born in the state in 1904. Worked with all the giants in jazz and pop music, the great Count Basie. We lost Count Basie at the age of 79 back in 1984, but his music lives on, and boy, it's great music. Who is the only player in NBA history to average 30 points and 20 rebounds per game in a season? That guy, Wilt Chamberlain. He's the only one who's ever done it, and he did it 7 times. Wilt Chamberlain, born in the state of 1936, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, died in 1999 at the age of 63. We lost Kenny Rogers in March, but the music lives on. You painted up your lips and rolled and curled your tinted hair. Ruby, are you contemplating going out somewhere? Kenny Rogers, born in the state of 1938. We lost Kenny in March, but that's what we have music for. Speaking of music, one of the greatest guitarists ever, the legendary James Burton. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, class of 2001. If you turn on your radio today and listen for an hour, it doesn't really matter what station you're listening to. The odds are pretty good you're going to hear James Burton playing guitar on it. The guy was everywhere and did everything. One of the greatest rock and roll guitarists of all time. James Burton, 81 years old today. And Usain Bolt, for a while there, he was the fastest guy in the world for about 10 years. He won the Olympic 100-meter and 200-meter title 3 consecutive Olympics. Nobody has ever come close to doing that. How old is Usain today? Typo. Says he's 4. I think he's older than that. Going to take a break. Mike Minotti's got an opinion. Then my conversation with Erica Grissmerson. We're talking about the Walk to End Alzheimer's. It's coming up next month. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
As you all know, our community is suffering under the weight of this global pandemic.
We are collaborating with regional healthcare providers and community leaders to collect accurate information on the number of COVID-19 infections in our region in order to meet the requirements for reopening.
To collect this information, we need community members to volunteer to be tested for COVID-19.
Data from these tests are vital to getting our region's businesses open again and helping us manage future spikes in infection, protecting our community members while also keeping the economy open.
Testing is voluntary and results are completely confidential. Look for more information about this testing in your mailbox.
We value your individual health and the health of our communities. Thank you for doing your part to keep us healthy and resilient.
This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, in grade school, I was taught that George Washington never told a lie. Really, never? I mean, come on. And then I was taught that Christopher Columbus discovered America. Well, no, he didn't, okay? Eric the Red probably got here 500 years earlier, and it wasn't even North America where Christopher Columbus landed, okay? And here's another good one. Native Americans and Pilgrims ate turkey on the first Thanksgiving. I don't think so. Who makes up this stuff, and why did they cram it down my throat when I was too young to challenge them? And you want to know what else? Another huge lie that I was told? I have searched numerous people-seeking sites. I have used many search engines, and I've looked all over the internet, and I can't even find one person named John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, let alone 2. Now, I say it's time to promote honesty in education. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. Every September, the Walk to End Alzheimer's is held. It's going to be different this year. Life in the post-COVID world is simply different. Unlike previous years when we all got together at the Pybus Public Market and walk along the Riverfront Trail, it's still on, and they're still walking. Just things are going to change a little bit for the Walk to End Alzheimer's coming up in September. Erica Grissmerson is the manager of the Walk to End Alzheimer's for the Washington State Chapter. She joins us from her home office in beautiful Richland, Washington. Good morning, Erica.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me today.
It's my pleasure. I'm glad we got to get caught up on this and really get the message out that this event is going on, because there's a lot of events that aren't going on. This one is. It's important to us. It's important to me personally. Before we get into the meat and potatoes, tell the folks at home just a little bit about yourself, Erica, how you got involved in the organization.
Yeah, so my job prior to this was I was in pet rescue. So always wanted to do something where I'm helping people or helping animals. My mother actually has always been worked in the care industry. So she's always worked for care facilities. So I basically grew up caregiving for people with Alzheimer's and dementia. So it was something that always came natural to me. And when the position came open to join the Alzheimer's Association, I jumped at the opportunity. It was absolutely a dream to have this position. So I'm very excited to be here.
And there is some good news. I did a little bit of research. I know you're not an MD. I'm not an MD, but from what I've been able to tell, they're making some progress on fighting this god-awful disease, aren't they?
Yeah, actually, we just held our AAIC conference. So that's our international conference where all of the global researchers come together and present the information on where we stand with cure research and just better understanding it. And there was a lot of breakthroughs that came through. Hard to explain in quick detail, but I would encourage people. We do have a Alzheimer's research app that you can download, and that will have a lot of information on current status of where we are with research. So a lot of great stuff came out of that conference and very promising results. So
that's good news. That's really good news. Let's take this chronologically. First of all, to get folks in the mood and hopefully get some teams organized and start that fundraising goal, you're going to have a virtual pep rally on Saturday morning. Talk about that.
Yeah, so it's our first ever pep rally. We're very excited to launch this new kind of event. We'll probably be keeping it going forward, even hopefully after COVID's done and we can meet in person. But it's exactly that. It's a pep rally to basically inform everybody, what's going on this year, break it down a little bit more, give them some more feedback and advice, really lay out the plan, and then get people excited, share the successes. We've got a lot of people that are fundraising right now. We've got some champions, and really just to thank them and thank all of our sponsors. So it's going to be short. It won't be long, but it will be online, and you can access that through the Walk to End Alzheimer's website.
Yeah, it was super easy, Erica. All I did was Google Walk to End Alzheimer's Washington chapter, and everything I needed just popped right up.
Yeah, you can even Google Walk to End Alzheimer's Wenatchee, and it'll pop up, and you can get basically right there. And then you'll just look for walk day event details, and then you'll see the pep rally icon, and you'll just be able to click on that and join us on Saturday morning.
Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 10 a.m., correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And then what happens between this Saturday, August 22nd, and Saturday, September 26th, when the actual walk is going to happen? And it is going to happen. We'll talk about that in a little bit. What are you hoping to happen between basically that month, between the pep rally and the actual walk?
Yeah, so we have about 6 weeks to walk. So what we're really hoping is that people will get their teams registered. They'll get their friends, their family, coworkers to join their team. The idea for walk this year is that we are going to walk everywhere. Walk is everywhere. So like you mentioned, we're not going to be walking along riverfront. Everybody will walk in their own neighborhoods, their trails, parks, wherever they like, as individuals, families, and teams. So in the next month, we're hoping people will get those teams built up, get their families registered, and start fundraising. Each participant this year, we're going to mail them 5 walk flags. So that's going to be exciting. So when you register, you'll get some flags mailed to you, and you can put those in your yard, put them in your window, and then carry them with you on walk day. And then also, again, just because of COVID and how things are looking different, we're going to mail the walk shirt. So when you reach $100 in fundraising, you will earn your walk t-shirt, and we will mail those directly to you as well. So pretty much we're going to be mailing things to you. We're going to be getting everybody excited. We'll do some coaching and some fundraising. And then on walk day, we'll be ready.
And the walk itself will be on Saturday, September 26th, which is pretty much the same day every year. It's usually mid to late September, which is actually perfect. You don't have to worry about the heat. The weather will be almost always beautiful in September. Walk me through the events on Saturday, September 26th, outside of the fact that you'll be walking in your own neighborhood or what have you. There are still other things going on as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we wanted to make sure that this was as close to a walk day experience as possible. How you participate is up to you, but we have lots of new features. So starting off in the morning, 9 a.m. Online, same spot as the pep rally. You'll jump on and watch our opening and promise garden ceremony. So just like at the normal walk, we'll have our ceremony. We'll have our local flower holders. We'll thank our local sponsors and have our own unique local ceremony. It will be shorter this year. Again, we're not trying to keep everybody online for too long. And then you'll go and walk in your neighborhood. We're also going to have set up a drive-by view-only promise garden. As many of you know that have participated in Walk, the promise garden is very important to a lot of us. It holds a lot of meaning. Each color in the promise garden represents your connection to the cause. And so we wanted to make sure that that was still available for our participants. So we'll have that set up. You can drive by and you'll be able to see this beautiful display. We don't have our location just yet, but we will have soon. With COVID, places are shut down. It's hard to, get a safe spot where people aren't congregating. We don't want people to gather. We want to make sure people are safe. And then we've also, we've upgraded our Walk app. And so this year now there's a Walk app tracker, so you can track your steps, and there'll be a virtual walk path to track your progress as you're walking. There'll be motivational music. We've got some celebrities that will be sending you motivational little messages. There'll be like selfie stickers. You can upload your pictures. So it's kind of that interactive component of Walk. And then one more big thing we've added is called the Walk main stage. So it's a complimentary to our website. It is live now, so you can access that today. And it's kind of like a virtual online walk day setup. So it'll have all of our walk booths. So you'll be able to see our national sponsors, Edward Jones and CVS. You'll be able to see our national team booths like you normally would. There will be our advocacy booth, our care and consulting booth. So pretty much all those booths you can see, and it's this online interactive web platform. So I definitely encourage everybody to go play around in there. There'll be monthly keynote speakers, and that'll be open until the end of the year. So you have plenty of time to go explore that. Lots of research stuff will be on there too. So if you're interested in learning more about research, I encourage you to go in there as well. So lots of different components, still interactive, trying to keep that connectiveness. But again, it's up to the individual participant, which pieces they want to participate in.
Are all the chapters in Washington State, and there are a lot of them, there's 25 or 30 that I can think of off the top of my head, are they all doing this all together on Saturday, the 26th of September, like one big giant walk to end Alzheimer's?
No.
Okay.
So we actually have, I think, over 600 walks across the country, and every walk is staying within their local community. So we all are keeping our own day, we're keeping our own times, we're keeping our own ceremonies. Everything is our local walk still.
How challenging has this been to keep this walk to end Alzheimer's a going concern in this COVID-19 world? Was this a bunch of really smart people got together and said, we got to keep this going? How do we make it happen?
Yeah. The walk obviously had to look different because we normally gather in such large quantities. I mean, last year we had over 300 people, so that was not going to fly this year, obviously. And then just given the nature of the work we do and the demographic we serve, it was very important to the association to keep everybody safe. So all of our staff are working from home. We've transitioned pretty much all of our programs and services virtual. Which has actually benefited a lot more people. Those people that are caring with somebody with Alzheimer's know how difficult it is to get out to go to these support groups and education seminars. And so what we found this year was transitioning to a virtual platform, we were actually able to reach more people, which is the goal, which is what we're trying to do, is help more people. So we're definitely going to see, out once we pass COVID and the risk is decreased, we'll be seeing a hybrid of in-person and virtual, making sure that we offer as much resources as possible to people. So we did have to transition, but we're finding that it's actually working for the better and we're helping more people. So I'll take that as a win.
And you made a very important point, Erica, for the people who are caring for those who are in the throes of Alzheimer's. It can be terribly stressful, and they need they just need to have a support group, because it's very tough for those people whose job it is to care for a loved one with Alzheimer's. So important stuff there. The presenting sponsor for the Wenatchee chapter is Fieldstone Memory Care. Thank you, Fieldstone. And the other sponsors are Confluence Health, Health Alliance Northwest, and Star Ranch Growers for the Wenatchee Walk to End Alzheimer's. People are watching this show, they say, I'm in, or I've always been in, or I haven't done it for a while. How do I get a team? How do I start the fundraising? How do I get involved? Erica, give me the meat and potatoes, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so again, you can just Google Walk to End Alzheimer's Wenatchee, and that should take you right to our local walk. Or you can go to alz.org/walk, and that'll take you to like the national page, and then you drive down to our state and then to our local walk. Both options will get you there. And then you just click register, and it'll give you the option, have you participated before or not? And then it'll ask you, do you want to start a team? Do you want to join a team? Or do you want to walk as an individual? And then it'll just kind of walk you through the registration steps. And then the best part, at the end of all of that, it takes you to what we call the participant center, and each person will have one. And this is where you'll find all of your resources. So you can connect your Facebook fundraiser, you can update your story, you can send emails, you can send text messages, and it gives you fundraising guides, tips, tricks, the walk logo if you want to make some walk swag. So definitely take a moment to look around your participant center, because there's a lot of resources in there for you. And anytime, if you ever get stuck, you are always welcome to give me a call or shoot me an email or text or anything like that.
It's pretty simple. Even an idiot like me can figure it out. And if I can figure it out, anybody can figure it out. And don't forget, as Erica mentioned, to download the app so you'll have it up and ready to go. Erica Grissmerson is the manager of the Walk to End Alzheimer's. Could we have a chance to talk to you maybe one more time before Saturday the 26th, just to give people an update?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd
Cool.
be happy to.
I'm going to make an appointment with you here in the next couple of weeks, and we'll make sure we get you back on the air here, Erica, to talk about the Walk to End Alzheimer's on Saturday, September 26th. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm really excited for this year. We've got a lot of cool new things coming out. So thank you so much.
Erica, take care, and you're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
By working together as a community, we can all play a part in promoting children's well-being and strengthening families. April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month. CASA and Together for Youth are dedicated to supporting families and reducing the risk of child abuse and neglect. Join us in keeping kids safe. If you suspect a child is being abused or neglected, please call 1-866-363-4276.
And we are back. You know, some television stations just talk about the weather, but here at the NCW Life channel, we really talk about the weather. And it's going to be windy today, certainly breezy. For the Wenatchee Valley, more like breezy instead of windy. Take a look at where you live. That is your wind gusts, your peak wind gusts later on this afternoon and into the early evening hours. Keeping a very close eye on what's going up in the upper Okanagan Valley. As you know, the Okanagan Valley, the terrain there is pretty narrow, and the winds can start funneling through those valleys. They could see gusts up near 40, which is not good news for the Palmer fire, which is nearly doubled in size up near Orville over the last 24 hours. Here it is from the National Weather Service. High right around 88 or 89 today. Northwest wind 5 to 10 this morning. West wind 11 to 16 miles an hour in the afternoon. Wind gusts for the valley anyway, about 25 miles an hour. Watch out Waterville and watch out Columbia Basin. You can see gusts between 30 to 35 miles an hour. And of course, With the dryness in the area fields, blowing dust could be an issue in the Waterville Plateau and out in the basin. 62 for the overnight low, wind dies down. The cold front brings in a little bit of cooler air. Very pleasant Saturday, high of 86. Sunday we start warming up all over again. It's still August. Friendly reminder about that. All right, don't forget, we got live racing Saturday night at the WVSO at 6 o'clock. We look forward to that. Until then, have a great weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.